From the second JD Vance walked toward that podium, the energy inside the room changed. The confidence people were used to seeing was gone. His shoulders looked heavy, his face drained, his breathing uneven like he was carrying something far bigger than politics. This wasn't a sharp senator, known for staying calm under pressure. This was a man backed into a corner, forced to confront a situation so explosive, so personal, that even the reporter stopped whispering the moment he grabbed the microphone. For days, Washington had been buzzing. Social media was on fire. Every headline, every post, every rumor pointed toward one name, Erica Kirk. But this wasn't just another political controversy people could laugh off and forget a week later. This situation felt different, bigger, messier, because behind the headlines was a story involving power, manipulation, emotional pressure, and a private apology nobody ever expected JD Vance to make publicly. And when he finally spoke those words, "I'm sorry," the entire room froze. Not because politicians never apologize, but because this apology wasn't aimed at the media, donors, or political allies. It was directed at one person only, his wife, Usha. That single moment shattered the image people thought they understood. But what the public didn't know was everything that happened before that apology ever reached a microphone. The private tension behind closed doors, the growing pressure inside the Vance household, the emotional chaos building for weeks while rumors spiraled out of control online, and most importantly, the leaked recording that suddenly turned a quiet controversy into a full-blown political firestorm overnight. Because according to people following the story closely, the scandal was never really about romance. It wasn't about cheating rumors or tabloid drama. It was about influence, proximity, perception, and someone allegedly trying to blur personal and political boundaries in a way that could destroy reputations. That someone was Erica Kirk. To the public, Erica appeared professional, polished, and connected, but privately, concerns reportedly started growing long before the leaked audio ever surfaced. Usha allegedly noticed how frequently Erica inserted herself into JD's orbit. Strategy meetings, political events, late-night conversations disguised as consulting. It slowly became impossible to ignore. At first, JD reportedly brushed it off as harmless political networking. Short replies, professional conversations, nothing inappropriate on the surface. But sometimes controversy doesn't need clear evidence. Sometimes all it needs is perception. And perception can become dangerous very quickly when the internet gets involved. Then everything exploded. A private voice note surfaced online, leaked without context, cut into fragments, edited in a way that instantly fueled speculation. Millions of people heard only the most dramatic parts. One clip in particular spread everywhere. Erica's voice saying, "You know you can trust me more than anyone else," followed by JD responding in an exhausted tone, "We can't keep talking like this anymore. You're crossing boundaries." That was all social media needed. Within hours, clips were reposted everywhere. Comment sections turned brutal. Headlines multiplied. People began building their own narratives without hearing the full recording or understanding the context behind it. And JD's silence only made the situation worse. But behind the scenes, Usha reportedly heard the complete audio. Every second of it. Every pause. Every tone shift. Every uncomfortable moment that allegedly revealed how complicated and emotionally manipulative the situation had become. According to insiders, Erica wasn't simply looking for political access. The real concern was the appearance of emotional closeness, enough to spark rumors, enough to create doubt, enough to damage a marriage publicly without needing definitive proof of wrongdoing. And that's what made the scandal so destructive. Because even people who believe JD did nothing inappropriate still question why Erica had become so closely connected to him in the first place. Why the communication continued. Why the boundaries weren't cut off earlier. That pressure eventually pushed JD toward the moment nobody expected. Standing in front of cameras, with reporters watching silently, he finally addressed the controversy directly, not as a senator trying to save his political image, but as a husband trying to protect his family. He admitted he underestimated the situation. He admitted he ignored warning signs. And most painfully, he admitted that the person hurt most by the entire scandal was his wife. when JD said, "I failed to protect the person who protected me every single day." The room reportedly fell completely silent. For the first time, this stopped feeling like politics. It became personal, raw, emotional, public in a way politicians spend their entire careers trying to avoid. But according to people close to the situation, the apology didn't end the scandal. It only opened the next chapter, because the biggest question still remained unanswered. Who leaked the recording and why? Months before the controversy exploded publicly, small warning signs had already started appearing behind the scenes. At the time, they looked harmless, coincidental even. But looking back now, many people believe those moments were the beginning of something much bigger. Life inside the Vance household reportedly used to feel steady and predictable. JD focused heavily on Senate responsibilities, while Usha balanced professional life and family responsibilities, often acting as a comm center, keeping everything grounded during political pressure. Their relationship appeared stable, private, and far removed from the kind of chaos dominating headlines today. Then Erica Kirk entered the picture, not dramatically, quietly, carefully. JD first encountered Erica during a public political event surrounded by donors, cameras, and media personality. Just introductions and casual networking. But according to sources following the story, Usha immediately sensed something felt off. Not because of obvious flirting, but because Erica allegedly carried herself with unusual intensity around JD from the very beginning. Over time, Erica's presence reportedly became impossible to ignore. She appeared at more meetings, more events, more discussions connected to JD's political world. Messages became more frequent. Voice notes became longer. Conversations became more personal in tone, even if they technically stayed within professional boundaries. And that's where things allegedly became dangerous. Because controversy doesn't always begin with clear betrayal. Sometimes it begins with access, repeated access, emotional familiarity, gradual closeness that creates confusion, suspicion, and eventually public speculation once private communication becomes exposed. Usha reportedly noticed it early. The late-night messages, the growing urgency in Erica's tone, the uncomfortable feeling that boundaries were slowly disappearing even if nobody openly acknowledged it yet. JD, meanwhile, allegedly believed he could manage the situation professionally without creating conflict. But by the time the leaked recording surfaced online, the narrative had already spiraled beyond anyone's control. From the moment the senator stepped toward the podium, something felt off. This wasn't the same confident political figure the world was used to seeing. His shoulders were tense, his expression was drained, and his voice, when it finally came, carried a weight that didn't belong in a press room. Something had already broken behind the scenes. For days, rumors had been building. Whispers online, leaks nobody could fully verify, and a growing storm around a political circle that suddenly couldn't stay private anymore. But this wasn't just another scandal. It felt calculated, engineered, like someone had carefully placed every piece in motion long before the public even realized the game was being played. At the center of it all was a rising political figure, his family, and a mysterious consultant who kept appearing in places she was never officially assigned to be. At first, nobody thought much of it. Just another energetic personality in political circles. But then patterns started forming. She wasn't just attending events. She wasn't just giving advice. She was appearing in closed-door discussions she wasn't supposed to know about. Email threads she was never officially included in. Private meetings where her presence raised quiet questions no one wanted to say out loud. And slowly, the people closest to the situation began noticing something uncomfortable. Not open conflict, not obvious wrongdoing, but access, carefully built, quietly expanded, step by step. One insider described it like this: she wasn't rushing in, she was positioning herself. And that's what made it unsettling, because by the time anyone questioned it openly, she was already inside the system, close enough to influence conversations, close enough to be mentioned in private messages, close enough that removing her would create more chaos than keeping her. Then came the message that changed everything. A voice note surfaced. Short, fragmented, leaked without context. Just enough to ignite speculation, but not enough to show the full truth. In it, a conversation sounded tense. Boundary lines were mentioned, emotions were implied, and suddenly the internet filled the gaps on its own. Clips spread everywhere. Edited versions went viral. Entire narratives were built from seconds of audio, and within hours, the story wasn't about facts anymore. It was about perception. One side saw betrayal, another saw manipulation, and the people in the middle were left trying to survive the fallout.